Did you know we have preseason over-under win totals? Did you know we have those at our disposal right now? Yes, we do, and I have some thoughts. I've actually got 4 bets I already like. Dare I say, I've already made. Dare I say that? I do not dare say that. Oklahoma State's a team I want to talk to you about. Careful, very careful, because I know a lot of you out there are just sharp enough to be dangerous. In other words, you're paying just enough attention to know Oklahoma State, oh, take the under. Well, I haven't told you the number yet. Nope, auto fade. Well, that's how you auto go broke. You don't auto anything. You got to measure what the team is against the number. The over-under win total is 6.5 for Oklahoma State. Yeah, take the under. Why? They've been ravaged by the portal. True. It's probably why the number's at 6.5. Now, you've presented your argument, assuming you're done. You done? Yeah, you're done. What if I told you this? Their schedule is the most laughable thing that you have ever seen. They play all 4 newcomers to the Big 12. Central Florida, welcome to the party. Houston, Brigham Young, Cincinnati, you're all playing Oklahoma State. It gets worse. They also play all 7 teams with worse odds than them in the Big 12. How do you pull that off? Your cousin could be the schedule maker in the Big 12, and you still couldn't pull that off as effectively as Mike Gundy has. Oh, by the way, they avoid 4 of the 6 teams ahead of them in terms of odds, and the 2 that they do have to play, they play both of them at home. I would also like to present this little piece of evidence as to why I think the over is the play here. The last time that Mike Gundy finished under 6.5 wins at Oklahoma State, the year was 2005. So, give me the over with Oklahoma State. At least that's where I lean heavily right now. What about Louisville? Louisville's over-under preseason win total is 7.5. Under! Take the under. Why? Coaching transition? Well, I disagree again. You and I are not seeing eye to eye tonight. I am taking the over at 7.5 with Louisville. And I'm going to tell you why. As Meemaw used to always teach me, schedule. They avoid the top 3 in the ACC. They don't play Clemson. They don't play FSU. They don't play North Carolina. They only play 3 true road games this year. How is that possible? Well, they play 7 home. They play 3 road, and they play 2 neutrals. Now, the Georgia Tech game is quote-unquote neutral. It's in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. But see, there's no hostility. Like, Louisville will not struggle at all to go in there against Georgia Tech, and they'll travel a lot of their fans down here because it's the first game of the season. And they play Indiana in Indianapolis, and it's Indiana. So I think they'll be fine there. They've got a top 10 portal class coming in. Jeff Brom, by the way, is the new head coach there, which reminds me, they kind of stumbled into like a more desirable coaching situation than they had with Satterfield. That was kind of strained, and now they get the guy that they wanted to. They got the 3rd best odds to win the conference. No back-to-back road games. It sets up very nicely for them. So I'm going to take the over with Louisville, 7.5. And you know what? I'm not done. I'm not done at all because I would also like to direct your attention to the Big Ten. I think I like the over with Illinois at 6.5. Under. Why? Because it's Illinois. You make a half-decent point, especially as it relates to years past. However, not last year. We know the Big Ten West is wide open every year, but they are coming off their best season since 2007. They went 8-5, okay? So that alone is a huge deal for Illinois. But let us not forget, children, 4 of their 5 losses were by 1 possession. So they were 8-5 and close to being a whole lot better than that. And I also think that what Brett Bielema has done up there, just in terms of assuredness of oneself and culture and all these things that matter on Saturdays, it's rock solid. Luke Altmaier has transferred in there at quarterback, so probably an upgrade at quarterback. And also, they don't play Ohio State. They don't play Michigan. They get Penn State at home. They play 4 of the 6 teams with lowest win totals in the Big Ten as well. I need them to win 7 games. I think they will. And since we're having this over party, I want to do something that we rarely do. I want to get on the elevator. I want to go down to the lobby, want to walk out on the street, I want to march ourselves up about a half a mile up the road, and let's go to Vandy. Are we about to bet on Vanderbilt football in May? Absolutely we are. What are we doing? We're taking the over. And it's not just because of our feelings towards Barton Simmons. This is going to be a lot better team than 3.5 wins. Their out of conference alone could get the job done. There's a scenario here. And let's go long A on this. Just humor me. There's a scenario here where Vandy is hitting their over before they enter conference play. They play Hawaii week 0. They play Alabama A&M week 2. They go to Wake Forest week 3. I think it'll be a very competitive game. And they play at UNLV week 4. I think that's a 3-1 start with an outside shot to being a 4-0 start. This is a very improved team that's being slept on because they're Vanderbilt, and I understand that. But it's year 3 of that coaching staff over there and that implementation of a different way of doing things. They upgraded last year. I think you'll see a more of maybe a quantum leap by Vandy standards this year. 73% offensive production returns, across the board upgrades, and like I said, our total's 3.5 here. So I'm going over 3.5. I think I've got 3 of them already just in the out-of-conference slate. I could have more than that. And then let's also talk about the fact that as odds go in the SEC, they play 4 of the bottom 6 odds teams in the SEC. You remember this game last year? If you're listening on podcast, we're showing you B-roll of Vandy and Florida. Like they beat Florida last year. Well, Florida was a double-digit favorite when they came in there. Like, I need them to do that once. I need them to bite Kentucky or Auburn. I need them to do that once. They're going to. They'll probably end up, you know what? If I were to get a little better juice, I'd even go, and I would entertain over at 4.5. But I don't have to do that. I'm just running my mouth on that. Over 3.5 is the number, and I like it. So Oklahoma State, Louisville, Illinois, Vandy. We're taking over on all of them. You may wonder, oh, that's a square get. You're betting all overs. Yes, I always do this. Early in the market, I take overs, the ones that I like, and then I wait for the numbers to get as inflated as they can because the vast majority of the public bets overs. I know that. So I try and get the overs I like ahead of time before some things get artificially steamed up, and then we'll have an under parade really close to the season. Like mid-August is when we'll start, got it. We'll just start randomly firing on unders, but not until then.